You know, toxicity is a trait. Tattoos is a motherfucking lifestyle. But I feel like both of them are lifestyle for me.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all now tuned into another episode of Sex, Money, and Ink with your host, AM the Almighty, aka the most tatted toxin of them all. Now listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna get right to it a little bit. I want to know, what is your honestly, what is your definition of grind season, or locking in? And that's just me being honest, because to me, when you say you about to lock in, or you about to you in grind mode, in my opinion, I feel like you anything that don't got to deal with necessities is you're not worried about it. And that's just me being completely honest all the way around the board. It don't matter what the fuck it is, where you at in life, it don't matter. But when you say you locking in my opinion, locking in is when you go all right, do I need this or do I want this? No, I don't need that. I don't want that. You get what I'm saying? That's just me in my opinion. If it's not a need, you don't do it. You don't buy it. You don't do none of that. And another thing is when you sit there and you say you locking in, it's I feel like you gotta you going off the grid. That's one. Number one is going off the grid when you locking in, because you don't need no distractions. You gotta understand when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock the fuck in. That means no distractions, no bullshit, nothing. And granted, life is life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you, life is gonna happen, things gonna happen, and we can't really, you can't stop certain shit from happening. But when the things you can control, I feel at the end of the day, is none of that. Don't all that going out. Not going to fuck out if I'm locking the fuck in. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I don't care about none of that shit. If we saying we locking in, whether it's you and your team, whether it's you and your relationship, whatever it's you and your friends, whatever. If y'all saying y'all locking in, or if you just saying it to yourself, if you single, you just doing it for you. If you saying you locking in, in all honesty, locking in is really just not giving a fuck about shit else that don't got nothing to do with what you got going on. And that's just me being honest. If it don't got nothing to do with what you got going on, then why the fuck is it even in, and I feel you got to give yourself a time span. It not necessarily, but I feel for me, for instance, I tell people all the time, 6 months. 6 months is my lock-in time. I ain't even gonna lie to you. 6 months to a year is my lock-in time. All the way around the board. I don't care about what it is, whether it's, relationships, whether it's business, friendship, whatever it is, locking in 6 months, it can change your life. I'm gonna be honest with you, because this is how I look at it, and I'm gonna just be real with y'all about that, that whole 6 months time span thing. Think about it like this. When you say 6 months, right? The first 2 months. And I'm gonna be real with you. The first two, I think they, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but this is just something that I read it, or I've seen it a couple times. When it take 30, they say take 30 days to break a habit, or 30 days to, and then 60 days or some shit like that to start a new habit or whatever that is. But so my thing is, you take the first 2 months, right? Them first 2 months. You take them 2 months. You know what I mean? You just basically detox. You detox from everything. I don't give a fuck what it is. You detox from the bad habits. You detox from the bad eating. You detox from all of that shit. You detox from a lot of that shit. Whatever it is that's bad, or the bad habits that you have in your life, or whatever, you detox from it. That's really all it is. You just detox from all of it for the first 2 months. And that's any bad, whether, like I said, whether that's, you in a relationship, your person, you just personally, emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever it is, you just detox for 2 months. Now, after you detox for 2 months, then the next 2 months, you go into transition. At that point, you know what I mean? You start to develop the better habits. You figure out the things. Because in the first 2 months, you're going to detox from the bad habits. You're going to sit there. You're going to figure out what you need to do to break them bad habits. You're going to figure out what you need to do to keep from going back to the bad habits and all them things. Now, like I said, that the next 2 months, that's the transition months. That's the months where you working on getting past the bad habits. Whether it's, for instance, like let's just say I'm gonna use this because I say it a lot, but I fuck myself over with it. It's like when you say you want to stop smoking or drinking, or you want to get better, and like I said, it can vary for whatever topic it is for you. That next the next 2 transition months, basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna be like, okay, cool. What causes me, like I said, when you're smoking, for instance, what causes me to smoke? Why do I smoke? When are the most times that I smoke? These are the things that you need to ask yourself, and then you answer those questions. No matter how hard it's going to be, no matter how difficult it's going to be, no matter how long the process may take you, because that's why you got them 2 months to help you, stay focused and really pay attention to what the fuck you're doing, and like really understand you as a person or that subject in your life at that time. So then you do that. Like I said, that the next 2 months. My fault. The next 2 months. You sit there, you go ahead, you do what you got to do, and you're like, all right, cool. Like, now that you done figured everything out, you done got all the information. You know when you smoke the most. You know what caused you to smoke. You know what happens after you smoke and how you feel and this and the third. You figure out all of that information, right? Because the first month you just figuring out what is your bad habit, what you want to stop, what you want to do better with, X, Y, and Z, right? Cool. Now after that, you go and you be like, okay, cool. Then in the transition months, you figure out how can you beat it. What's some ways you can solve these problems? What's some ways that you can do X, Y, and Z? Whatever it is. Now, them last 2 months, those are going to be them 2 months that you sit there, you go, and you just apply all of that shit. You apply all of that shit, and you just go full throttle. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't do none of that shit. You go full throttle, and you just keep on fucking going. And I can guarantee you, after them 6 months, you're definitely gonna have a different look on things. Like the way you move, the way you do shit, the way you're gonna see a better version of you. Like I said, and that all depends on what area you're talking about, because you could be talking about, let's just say you talking about it, for instance, like let's say you doing about it, like I said, you saying you done smoking. Cool. Okay, you want to quit smoking. Now you done figured out all this information. Now, in that last month, you ain't smoking no more. Them last 2 months, you ain't smoking. You avoiding a little bit. Granted, you're gonna avoid it in the beginning. You avoid the things that's gonna cause you to smoke. Oh, listen, that's gonna stress me out, so that's gonna cause me to smoke. I'm staying away from over there. But then you start being like, you know what? I'm gonna test myself. You gotta test yourself at some point. Now you testing yourself. Now you like, you know what? All right, cool. I'm gonna go over there. Now I gotta develop my self-control, my self-discipline. I gotta develop all of these things. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go over there. And if this stressful area, if I can go to this stressful area, that's gonna cause, like I said, that's gonna cause me to stress. That's gonna cause me to want to smoke, and then I don't smoke. All right, now you're doing better. And you keep testing yourself. You keep testing yourself until until you get to where you want to be. But that's just my whole, like, people got to understand, what is your definition of locking in? That's, a lot of people don't understand that shit. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to lock in. It's time to lock in. And again, I'm only talking on this shit because I'm a victim of it. Or I didn't even say victim. I don't like using that word. But I'm only saying it because I'm a product of it. Like, I've been a person like, oh, give me 6 months and I'm going to do this. Give me 6 months and I'm going to do that. Give me 6 months. But I honestly can say one of my problems is self-discipline. Like that discipline is something that I lack and that I have to work on tremendously. And I can't even lie to you and say here and bullshit you or fake it. No. Like that's something that like legitimately like that.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Like legitimately, like I gotta work on, and that's something that I legit like that I have to, But other than that, it's just like, what do people feel like they grind? Like, because everybody is different. I ain't gonna lie to you. Everybody has a different perspective on it. Because if you, like I said, if you ask me, I tell people like you can do shit in 6 months. 6 months, you good. If you give yourself that year, that first 6 months, is your trial and error, you're figuring things out. That next 6 months of that year, oh my fucking God, the motherfucker you gonna be after them first 6 months, shit is ridiculous. You gotta look at this shit like a basketball game or a football game. No, real, like, and this is some real shit. Look at this shit like a football game, right? The first half is like, all right, I'm getting warmed up. I'm getting warmed up. I'm getting adjusted to how this person, like this team play or whatever the case may be. Whoop. That second half, you snap the fuck out. That second half, you snap the fuck out and don't stop. You keep fucking going until you get to where you want to be. You keep going. You keep going. You keep going. I don't give a fuck what steps in your path. You keep fucking going, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of shit that's going to get in your way of trying to stop you from what you want to do. You gotta be able to be like, all right, you know what, man, fuck what you talking about. I'm going full throttle, and I'm applying pressure on every fucking thing that I'm doing. I don't care about shit that you saying. I don't care about the negativity over there. I don't care about the partying. I don't care about the going. I don't care about none of that shit, because in the next year, where I'm gonna be able to do the party, and I'm gonna be able to relax. I'm gonna be able to chill longer. Motherfuckers want to chill for 30 minutes or a week right now, opposed to later on when you can chill for a month because you got residual income, because you didn't did everything that you had to do. Now you saved up enough amount of money. Now you can go on this trip and you can chill for a week, or you can chill for 2 weeks, or you can go on vacation. You can take your family here. You can take like, that's the shit that people don't understand, and I feel like that's the part that it burns me out when I hear people say like, oh, I'm in grind mode. I'm in grind mode. Nigga, how the fuck is you in grind mode? Or how the fuck is you in grind? Or you locked? How the fuck is you locked in? And nigga, you just was out partying. Like, what the fuck? No. Locking in is not doing none of that shit. Locking in is when a motherfucker call you and say, yo, you trying to go out? No. I don't give a fuck if you gotta make an excuse. No, I'm not going out. And if a motherfucker, and if, like, whether it's your friends, your family, your relationship, whoever it is, if they can't fucking respect that shit, drop them motherfuckers on the real. Drop them. Because at the end of the day, these are the same motherfuckers that when you do get to where you want to be, they're going to deter you from where the fuck you got to go and what the fuck you focused on. And that's just me keeping it 100 and me keeping it a bean. Like, you cannot allow shit to distract you from your ending goal. If you know your ending goal is here, and this is some real shit. If you know your ending goal in the next 5, like I said, let's use the year thing. Like I said, the 6 months to the year, example. If you know in the year this is where you want to be, right? This is me being honest. If you know the year this is where you want to be, right? You want to be at this certain place. Because most people look at it like, when they say this shit, like when they say they want to make a change, it's always like financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's always about shit like that. Even with family, I ain't gonna lie, it's shit like that too. So if you know for a fact, like, all right, in the next year I want to be here. All right, cool. Now what do you got to do in the first quarter of this game? So that next quarter, the next 2 quarters, the first half of the game, you figure out all the bullshit. You know what bad habit you is, what things you got to work on, this, then the third, X, Y, and Z, right? Cool. The second half of the game, you going full throttle. You not stopping. You not letting shit get in your way. The roughest part is the first step. I'm being honest with you. The roughest part is the first step. So the moment that you start figuring out, damn, all right, I know my weaknesses. I know what I got to work on, my bad habits or whatever. Then you get into the transition 2 months. Then you go into the months of where the last 2 months of this, the first half of the game where you like, all right, bet. Now, them next 6 months, the second half of the game, oh, it's up. You got me fucked up. It's up. You ain't gonna be able to tell me shit, because now I'm already on a roll. I'm on a fucking roll. The hardest part of it all is the first fucking step. Like, that's the hardest part of this shit, is the first fucking step. So once you get past that shit, once you get past the first half of the game, oh my fucking God, just imagine where you're gonna be by the end of the year. And I'm gonna be honest, how I judge this shit, I always look at it like, all right, this is my birthday. My birthday is this day, I'm giving it to my next birthday. Bet This is my time spending. I got to work on a lot of shit. And to some people, it's like, I'm not waiting no year to do X, Y, and Z. Or some people it's not going to be around in that next year. But it's not about everybody else. It's about you. If that's what you choosing to do so you can be somewhere in the next year, that's what you choose to do. Fuck what they saying. Fuck going out. Fuck trying to eat here and there, this and the third. Fuck all that shit. You got to know how to go in grind mode, and the people that you hang around got to know how to get in grind mode right along with you on some real shit. Y'all all got to be on the same page, same time, all of that shit. Like, the most y'all need to be doing is like, yo, you good, you straight, X, Y, and Z, how things going? Like, I know you, no, woo, just check-ins, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like that's real shit. That's just me being completely honest. And if a motherfucker disagree with me, then that's on you. But I can guarantee you, if you apply that method to your fucking life, if you apply that, what I just said to your fucking life, I guarantee you'll make a bigger impact on your life, and you'll be so much farther than where you at right now. So to go over it again, you got the first half of the game. Now that first half of the game is your warm up. That's just like, let me get adjusted to everything. Let me figure this shit out. The first 2 months is where you're going to sit there, you're going to evaluate yourself. You're going to reevaluate yourself. You're going to look at everything. Your bad habits, this, that, and the third, your toxic traits. You're going to look at all that shit. You're going to look at where your time management. You're going to look at your money management, your emotional management. You're going to look at all that shit. The next 2 months, all right, go to transition. Now, what can I do to solve these problems? What can I do to become better and turn some of these into strengths instead of keeping them as weaknesses? And these bad habits, cut the bad habits and turn them into good habits. With it, like now you in that. Then them last 2 months, you go full fucking throttle. You keep on going. Now I promise you. And then the next 6 months of that year, I promise you, you gonna fucking listen. Just write this shit down too. Write this shit down. As you doing this shit, document this shit. I really and I do it with anybody that DM me. I promise you, anybody that DMs me, that listen to this, that DM me, text me, whatever, and tell me like, yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the year challenge. Cool. In the year, we can document this shit. We can document this shit. We can write this shit down. We can start a group chat. We can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Let's fucking do it, a year challenge, and see where the fuck you be at. Write everything down. Let's go over all that shit, and we can help each other. And that's where a lot of people go wrong too. Like, they be around motherfuckers that don't want to fucking change. A lot of people say, oh, I want to change. I want to be better. I want to be this and that. But a lot of motherfuckers don't really want to put the work in it that it takes to do this shit. Like, so get around motherfuckers that's going, like, really be like, you know what? If this motherfucker say he locking in for a year or for 6 months or for a year, whatever, if he locked in, it's either I'm going to join the motherfucker to become better right along with him or her, whoever, whatever, or I'm going to leave that motherfucker alone. I'm going to go about my fucking business, because when they elevate, I'm not ready to go there yet. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to stay in the background. I'm going to mind my fucking business. I ain't calling them to go out. I ain't doing that. Now, there's nothing wrong with checking in and being like, yo, you good, you straight, how everything going, woo, woo. But for the most part, I'm going to just stay to myself, and I'm going to go this way, they're going to go that way, because they trying to be there. And some people got to understand, like, that's the thing too. Like, you got to understand, like, maybe some people just ain't ready, like, to go to the next levels, like, at that moment in their life. Just because you ready to go to the next levels don't mean that that person is ready. And the moment that you realize that is the moment that you going to, like, all right, now I'm starting to outgrow a lot of motherfuckers. Now I'm starting to be like, all right, cool. Like, I used to be cool with this motherfucker. Now I'm not as cool. Like, we ain't no bad blood. We just don't speak as much. We just don't hang out as much. That's because you want more and you want better, or you want this and you want that. That motherfucker, they may not be ready for that right now. That's not where they at in their life right now. So you can't be, and honestly, you can't be angry with them, because if they can tell you that shit straight up, you gotta respect that shit and just be like, you know what, I respect it 100%, and I'm right. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather you say that to me than to you to come to me or keep trying to distract me from what the fuck I'm trying to do. So, like I said, if y'all want to do that shit, if y'all want to do that yearly challenge, let's do that yearly challenge. Let it be known what you trying to, what your goals is, what you trying to start with, bad habits, whatever the case may be, And then write that shit down, document that shit, get a little composition notebook, document that shit. Write all that shit down, and then I guarantee you in a year, go back to that shit and read all that shit. I'm like, damn, I came a long fucking way. I made a lot of fucking changes. I met a lot of my goals, or if not a lot, all of my fucking goals, depending on what you trying to work on, or what shit, like, you know what I mean? Depending on where you at, what them 6 months consists of in your goals. If not, like most, you got all of your goals completed. So we gonna see who really want to change their life, who really gonna get their shit together, who really ready to lock the fuck in. I'm just saying. But until the next episode, stay text. Shit. Until the next episode, stay toxic. Damn. Yo, listen. I'm fucked up right now. And I'm gonna keep that shit on the episode. Ain't no editing shit out. I fucked up so many times just now. Damn. Fuck. Stay toxic and die 10. We the fuck out.